Hi gang, Acesup here for PokerNerve.com. 2 months, 40k is the objective. Episode 2. And I must say, not the best start to this session. See, we've got the mixture of 888 poker around the place. A few 20s on the side as well. Also got a couple of full tilties. And of course, stars on the go. We are in the almost the direct bubble, top right, and we just ran the pocket eights into queens. It wasn't pretty. Not too much we can do about that. We had M8 or 7, a bit under 7 on the button, so I just shoved. I think it's better just to shove in that spot rather than... actually, it was M6-ish effective, I think, once we got jammed on, but nonetheless, shoving it in. Didn't want to raise and give the players behind an opportunity to jam on us because of the ICM. So, of course, you know, it's just a pretty small tourney, this one. $12 rebuy out on. In for 36. Well, 32, I should say. So that's right, isn't it, guys? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, $41 for cashing. And it all adds up. Left ourselves now with a couple of BB, but it is hand for hand. So the bubble is upon us. Can we survive with our, what do we got here? With our one, almost just under 2 BB stack. Bottom left here is an 11 rebuy, still in the rebuy period. And I think I'm going to raise here. This openers are kind of on the loose side, and each up has been calling a lot behind, I think, just because it's rebuys, trying to get chips, trying to, you know, flop big and stack someone. So I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze this one with the pocket nines. And I think if he had have jammed on us, you know, Clancy Wiggum, we would have called. Each up. Probably just going to jam because he's probably SPR's one. He's going to call with any pair anyway, so it's not really much point in, I think, betting less than all in because pocket threes, as you can see, called. And I mean, he's just once the SPR's one, I mean, he's not going to fold, and that sort of just solidifies what I was saying, that he is just gambling a bit because it's the rebuy period. Obviously, a pretty bad call pre, but you know it's rebuys, so he's just looking to get a bit of a stack, which worked out well for us. Yeah, not what I was sort of saying there is not too much point betting, I think, like quarter pot, trying to induce something, or trying to get fancy. If I had ace king or ace queen or something, I would probably just do the same thing and shove it. So, may as well just do that with the entire range. I don't really think he's going to play back with anything that's not going to call anyway. You know, if he's got like... yeah, I guess maybe if he had a gut shot, he might. If we bet small, he might shove, as opposed to if we just shove, he might not call, I guess. Top right, gonna have to go for it just because, well, I mean, we'll be out in 2 hands anyway. So, you know, it's time to roll the dice here and, you know, I mean, we have ace queen, but it's just that it's the immediate bubble. So, you know, look, if I had have had 4,000 in chips, I may actually have just folded and tried to let the bonds pass and tried to survive another round. Because I think there's a pretty good likelihood that someone would bust in the next 9 hands if we could survive. And it looks like it's us busting right now. So that's unfortunate. Right in the bubble. It always stings, doesn't it? This tournament is no longer hand for hand. There's 2 things that annoy me. It's busting in the bubble. And the other one thing that annoys me, which has happened today as well, is where you find a pretty good looking tournament in the lobby and you click register and it says, sorry, you have already played this tournament. So you bust out while it's still in the registration period and you kind of forget. You see a tourney there, oh, I'll play this, click it, you have already registered. So, yep, not the best start. I don't actually think I've made the money in anything yet. We had a pretty good spattering of sort of lowish buy-in 20s. Did play a 55 though, but I think 55, 33, 22, 22, mostly, and some 11s and the 12 and that sort of thing, so that you saw. So we shall just plug on. We shall just continue battling through this bad start, see if we can't turn it all around. I'm going to call here with the King Jack suited. Deep stacks in position. Nice hand. I think half pot here I might float. It's kind of close, but I think why if I again. I think if we had picked up like a 10 or a queen, or any diamond, king or jack obviously, and if you just check turn here, you know, I would have fired if you had a check turn. I think a lot of the time he's just got high cards he's given up with. But in this instance, I guess he could have a big pair, or he might just be semi-bluffing. He could just be betting with ace-queen of hearts and have absolutely nothing, I guess, if he thinks we floated, but I don't know if he would do that on this sort of turn card. It's not innocuous, but, I mean, if we had sixes, we probably, I don't know, we probably wouldn't be folding, would we? Maybe we'd be in a tough spot, I guess. Sixes with a club. Maybe we call. He only bet half pot, so doesn't have to work a high percentage of the time. Very success percentages. Half pot. He needs to work 33% of the time, so we should be defending around 67%. So we do have to have a few sort of those backdoorish type hands in there to be defending with that sort of frequency to stop our opponent from making an immediate profit. But, you know, I'm not that overly concerned about playing sort of a balanced strategy or anything like that, but I think it's nice to throw a few hands in like that where we've got some backdoor equity and can float in position. Bottom left, I'm going to call as well. I Am Legend opens pretty wide. He's probably got around 25% of hands there, I would say. He does open from middle at 25%. And it's a pretty bad board. I think I will give this one up. Not really too much backdoor equity. Well, not much equity at all, likely. But yeah. Could have 3-bet it, taken the initiative. You know, that's what I like to do a lot of the time, but I just feel like it's a little bit too strong to 3-bet and just keep the stacks deep and have a nice hand in position. You know, anytime you bloat the pot, it does tend to sort of favour the player out of position. Usually, the deeper the stacks, the better it is for the player in position. More of a skill advantage, since there's likely to be more streets of betting and more options up your sleeve in terms of bet sizing and checking and raising and whatnot. Top right, I think I think I might bet again here, actually. It's kind of close. He did call the flop pretty fast, and I think when I bet turn, if he's got king 10, queen 10, 8, 10, gets there. King, queen, king 10. Yeah, queen 10. He might even call ace high sometimes. I think when I bet flop, I thought he might have small pairs like sixes, eights, fives. Obviously, we beat twos and threes. So it was kind of a bit of a merge bet where I think we have the best hand sometime, but we might fold out better. And he did actually have the king queen type of hand, you know, which is the most combinations that he's going to have, right? 16 combos, obviously. King Queen 16, King Queen 10 16, King 10 16. You know, there's already 48 combos. It just didn't really feel like he's had a jack, you know, when he just snapped flop like that. Seemed like he had that sort of hand that he was holding. It must clean up here. Get rid of this tournament on the bottom right. And bring in Mama said, knock you the hell out. $26. Mama said, knock you out. And yeah, I mean, this is it's a pretty good tournament. $26, 4K guaranteed. This is sort of good for building your roll, I feel, these sort of tournaments. I must get stack and tile going. I just do not have it operating at the moment. I think I cancelled it, and yeah, I have to get it going again because you know, I love the shortcuts and the auto tiling that stack and tile provides. It's if you're unfamiliar with it, it's a piece of software that you can run in the background, and it just makes the playing experience a little bit easier. Sorry if you can hear the heater, by the way, guys. You know, normally I would obviously turn it off if I was recording a strategy video, or I wouldn't say something more serious. You know, trying to make $40,000 in 2 months is pretty serious. But no, I mean just something with a bit more sort of, you know, we're a little bit relaxed, aren't we? You know, I've got my bottle of whiskey here, and no, I tell a lie, I haven't. I've actually got a coffee. But yeah, just chilling out a bit here. Chilling out and just trying to make some money. It's the best way to make money, really, isn't it? I will complete top right if they allow me to. I really like this spot actually, because we've got the early raises, raise and call, and so, you know, the 7/8's just, it's a nice connected hand that if they do have a early position type strong hand, then, you know, there's always a chance we can get paid if we hit. And I'm going to fire bottom right too, just because we do have the gutser, and the 10 and jack might be good. And nobody's bet on the flop. Well, you know, I wouldn't expect the small blind to, but the initial limper didn't. So I thought I might take a little stab there and try and fold out small pairs that he might have. But he's called, so he probably has a queen, or he might have king jack or something as well. Or he might have sevens and just not believe us, I guess, because we're big blind. And he had the old flush draw. Didn't expect that one. No c-bet on the flop. It's a perfect board for c-betting, isn't it? I mean, he's limped in. He's only got the blinds to contend with, and he's got the flush draw and a backdoor straight on an ace-high board against a couple of players that can have very wide ranges, obviously, being blinds. Yeah, and it's almost midnight here, and so it's a pretty good time to be playing. It's Sunday night or Monday morning in a lot of countries, I guess. Here in Japan, it is almost midnight, and yeah, I've got the heaters on. It's getting cold. Getting very cold these days. The snow hasn't hit us yet, but it's probably going to be tonight or this week that it does, because it's really cold. It's probably slightly too deep, really. M10. 15 bigs. 27 to win 32. 45. Yeah, it's a bit of a gamble for half our stack, I think. I just don't think there's enough hands. I mean, a lot of the time he's going to have like 5s, 7s and stuff like that, but I don't think I really want to, you know, make sort of a break-even call there for half our stack at this point. Especially in an $11 buy-in, I mean. I prefer someone just gave me chips, ideally. Which, you know, sometimes they do. They just hand them over and gift wrap them and just ask you to just take them and chips off their hands, which is obviously great when it happens. And normally in this time slot, usually you get a bit of that. I think I'm going to make a little ISO raise top right, just to get heads up in position against this guy's limped. He's got a pretty tight limp range according to the small amount of information that we have, 80 hands. So he might even be limp raising some of the time. But in any case, yeah, I mean, I just think it's better to... I just think it's better to raise pre-flop for this reason now, that we can bet and have more, you know, we've got more of an uncapped range since we did raise pre-flop. We really can represent more hands, whereas if we just flat called behind and limped, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder to rep anything too strong. Although it's not a very good board, I guess. Just going to bet that much on the left. I think I will bet again on the left here. Or will I? Well, I guess we're done with it on the right. It's a pretty big bet too, but I just don't really see him floating with something funky. This is really close on the left. I think a lot of times he's got like sixes or something really random, the way these guys play, but the SPR is really nasty. So I think what I might do is hope we get an ace, queen, or 10 on the river. And if we do any checks, I might shove. And we get a 4. I mean, of course he can have a king, you know, he can have a king. He could have diamonds as well, but, you know, these guys sometimes play very passively. We just saw that bottom right where a guy played very passively. So it's going to be pretty annoying here, I think, when he shows us, you know, sixes or something, but... fives, ace 3. Can he ever have like 10 jack of diamonds? Yeah, I mean, I just don't really think there's much point betting. But at the same time, tight fold bottom right. He had the diamonds. Past the chips. He had the diamonds, and he didn't stab at it. And that's what I was saying about the passiveness. Very, I mean, yeah, just... We just saw it before as well with the guy with the 5-7 suited that limped early. And it's just a bit odd at that stack depth. But that's one of the advantages of 3-betting. Once we 3-bet and represents quite a strong hand, you know, he feels like he has less fold equity because we probably have something good. And therefore, you know, he's a little bit worried that he's going to get called. So doesn't want to semi-bluff and his stack off. And, you know, that's fine for us. But, you know, we can be 3-betting pretty wide there. So a good player will realize that and take a more aggressive route. But, Jack, King Jack, Queen, 10, diamonds, King 10, King 8, 9 Jack, 9 Queen, 9 10, 7 8. I think I'm going to check. I didn't really feel like there was that many cards we can get value from on the bottom left. Just thinking if we can bet now. I think I'm going to check again. You know, it's going to be annoying if he shows us King 10, King 7, King 6, or King 5 or something. I guess we could have got a couple of streets from that hand. The thing about betting now is that sometimes these guys get a little bit tricky with, you know, a flush here. But also sometimes they're just kind of scared to bet with like 8-9. Maybe he's got Jack 9 and he was hoping we'd bet turn and now he's kind of scared. So I'm going to check because I just don't think there's quite... I mean, if I'm going to value bet, I'm probably going to bet 800 or 7. And that hand I don't think calls. and at the same time, so the hands that we get value from are probably only like King X, and we do have a King blocker, so we don't really get value from that many hands, but he might check raise and put us in a really hard spot as a bluff or for value, and I don't think we can just value bet and then just happily fold and say, well, he must have it because he only raises with the nuts, but it's kind of a tough spot. I just don't feel like there's quite enough hands that we can get value from. Depends on the player, though. I mean, we don't know anything about this player, but he seems kind of solid so far. I just don't see any way we can get value from that hand. He could turn it into a bluff if he's good and, check jam river. That's probably a line I might take, which would be pretty cool. Because we look like we have ace, king, king, queen, right? Aces, queens. Something that's setting, a little bit worried on the turn, but then tries to squeeze out a little bit of value on the river. And he had quite a nice stack size to leverage against us. And so I just think for the small amount of value that we might be able to squeeze out, we do open the door up to putting ourselves in potentially a tricky spot if they check raise the river. And I'd probably fold, I guess, if it happened. At this stake against this player, with sort of, with no information and at a low buy-in, I just don't think a player in general is going to be good enough to turn a hand like the hand they had into a bluff. At higher stakes, maybe they would. So maybe I should have value bet. And they call looser as well. It's important to be going for more value in general at lower stakes. So, I mean, it was close. It was very close. I wouldn't say it's loose, but it's a little bit risky, the king, queen here. UTG limper and third position raiser or isolator, the two better. And so I figured the UTG, he's limping a lot, 37% at this point, and I figure he's going to call most of the time. He could have some hands we dominate. And it's only a 2-bet, a raise against a limp. So, and we're in the big blinds, so we were getting a pretty good price. But some of the time, the UTG limper's going to jack it up and has limped with a big hand. And some of the time, the 2-better pre-flop actually does have a legitimate hand. I think I'm going to fold here. I mean, I would rather, I think, check raise if we were going to continue with this hand than just call, I think, because then we might be able to get an ace off. If we check min raise here, he calls, and then we shove river. We would over min raise turn and then set up a good SPR to shove river. I think we can fold out an ace, but at these stakes, it's a $22 buy-in and it's 888. Again, no notes on the player. I mean, he's just gonna, some of the time, some of these players will just snap your face off there with ace jack, and you just feel like a massive fish, where you just turned a hand into a bluff that, was kind of in a pretty dicey spot. If we knew that player had sort of a low get to showdown frequency, was a little bit lower, if we knew they were more of a solid player, that might give us a little bit more credit. It's very hard. They haven't c-bet, so again, they shouldn't really have hearts that often, but we have seen some passive play, so they could. It's not impossible that they would check back hearts, a flush draw, but if they've gone ahead and isolated pre, again, most players would bet it. It's just continue to tell the story and semi-bluff with it on the flop. And so it's pretty hard for him to call because his range is a little bit capped when he checks flop. It's kind of looking like he can't really have a flush, and when he bets turn, it looks like he has an ace. So it looks like he has ace king, ace queen, ace jack, that sort of thing, which shouldn't really be able to get to showdown. If we check raise turn, shove river, I mean, it should not be able to get to showdown. But these guys, they might make a liar of me and just snap me. This is such a small stack. I think I'm just going to shove, I guess. Interesting to see if he folds here, yeah. He's decided he's going to steal on the button, but he's only got like M5. Yeah, it's not horrible, but kind of close. I mean, you should probably be shoving or folding at that stack depth, but yeah. Just jumping in some more 20s here, guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna raise this one up. Yeah. Just keep scanning for what is available. See if there's anything good to play. Ooh. How did I not see this before? $22 deep stacks. Yeah, let's play that. $27. Look at this. It's a $27 1K guaranteed, and there's 9,000 in there. That is special. 6 max 27. And I'm going to jump in that as well.